It's 3:04. This meeting of the Finance Committee for August 28th, 2025 is hereby called to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman at Large Keith Larson.
Here.
Alderman Dan Barreiro.
Here.
Alderman Edward J. Bug.
Here.
Vice Chair Carl Franco.
Here.
And Chairperson Ted Masiacos is here.
Clerk, can you please read the approval of the minutes?
Item 25-0651, approval of the minutes from the Finance Committee meeting held on August 14th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Dan Barreiro, second by Alderman Ed Bug. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 5-0, approved. Clerk, do we have any members of the public wishing to offer public comment?
We do not.
All right. Clerk, would you please read the first item on the agenda?
Item 25-0644, an ordinance authorizing an agreement with the Aurora Regional Economic Alliance for the provision of special services within the area constituting Special Service Area 1 through December 31st, 2025.
Good afternoon, committee. Shannon Cameron, Chief of Staff. So this is a transitionary approach to allow us to give SSA 1 funds to the Alliance to execute things like First Friday events. There still is approval needed in the contract or the MOU, as you have seen in the Legistar item. Anything that would go over $1,000 would need to be approved. For example, they did do the Stope Island Block Party for us. That was able to be, that was under, I think, $2,000 to do that, and they did a great job, I think. While we're re-looking at reinstating something like the Downtown Aurora Association due to the feedback from the business community and building owners community. So this is to get us through that transition through the end of December to make sure we have great events going on and that are really important to our downtown businesses and our downtown community and keep that going.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Chief of Staff, Ms. Barreiro, question to Alderman Barreiro.
Chairman Masiacos, I have a question.
Mhm.
On the information presented, it talks about collecting the taxes for and administering the taxes for 25 and 26. Why is the contract then only go through the end of the year and not through the end of next year?
It could be only because of, even though it's through December 31st, there might be expenses that bleed into 2026, just as in the contract is up until then, but they do have an event and just with billing and it's holiday lights time. So I imagine that we will have an agreement that is different to present to council for January. But I think it was Rick Veenstra did draft this for us, and I think he was giving us that ability to have that flex into 2026. But I can
But
go.
the contract only goes till December 31st, 25. Why not make it longer?
I can ask him, and we could maybe have that. I think we didn't want to make it longer because we thought we had, by January, would have a new plan. So that's why. But I can ask him to give us a buffer on that before Cal.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Fantastic.
Question.
Alderman Franco.
So go back to that $1,000 thing. Explain that again.
So they can make purchases for things up to $1,000, but once it hits, if they have something, they're going to present a budget to us basically for each event that we'll approve.
Okay, and the reason I ask that is because it seems kind of low. You know,
Yeah.
I wonder if we want to raise the bar a little bit based on everything costs. I mean, we know we have a $5,000 thing that we use for our purchases of various departments. So not that we want to mirror that, but 1,000 seems low. They have to keep coming to us asking for,
I don't think they're going to have to do that because they'll present us a budget,
Sure.
sort of event by event. For example, the holiday decorations are considered to be more, right?
Right.
And I think because this was a new transition and we used to have a board overlooking all of this, we just wanted to make sure that we were being good stewards of taxpayers' money, and that, but they have worked on a budget for us that then we'll go ahead and approve. We've had some back and forth on it, and Downtown Services is taking on some of the work of the holiday lights too, but it is a big job, so we need partnership. We have a contractor that Aurora Downtown used to work with to help manage all of that. So there's still some of that. We're looking on storage on some of that. So there's some back and forth right now with the Alliance, but other than that, I think we'll be able to approve a budget before. It's not like they're gonna have to come to us every
Right,
time.
That's what I was concerned
Yeah,
about. I mean,
yeah.
Going back and forth for, you know.
Yeah, we want to, we don't want to make it harder
Right,
on
sure.
them to make great events happen. But I will say, in the history, they've really kept, Aurora Downtown doesn't have a ton of money to work with and has created a lot of magic with low funds, and you'd be surprised how much those things they've been able to get in-kind donations, things like that, to make them happen.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, right, motion
Second.
approved by Alderman Franco, second by Alderman Barrero.
I have
All
a
those in-
comment.
Alderman Bug.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I understand that this is a kind of a stopgap measure, but we discussed that there will be a full accounting for the Alliance. Do we have a time frame on that?
So for this specific project,
Oh, no, the full accounting of the Alliance.
so.
I understand Mr. Caputo just walked in the door, but just if we have a time frame on when we're gonna.
Yeah, I think they're due to come back to council for a report, so I can reach out to the current director and schedule that.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, looks like within 30 days, we should have something and be able to do that. That's what a little birdie just told me.
All right, a little birdie named Mr. Dave Debo. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for showing up today as well, Mr. Debo. So we have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cameron. Clerk, could you please read the next item on the agenda?
Item 25-0227, a resolution authorizing the sale of obsolete and surplus property using J.J. Kane Auctioneers and Purple Wave, Inc.
Good afternoon, Chris Linville, Superintendent of Fleet Operations. We're requesting authorization to sell all of our obsolete, retired vehicles through either J.J. Kane or Purple Wave Auctioneers.
And this is a typical item that happens every year, correct?
Every year.
Okay. Any questions from the committee?
So moved.
Yeah.
Motion by Alderman Franco, question by Alderman Bug.
Yes. Thank you for supplying the list. And I understand that these were taken out of service. And understanding our situation now where we may not be granting all of the capital requests coming through. So there was some vehicles here, and of course we just have year, make, model, and mileage. That seemed like there could be or should be still use of life in them. And especially if we will not, or possibly could not be, say, purchasing new, say in 2026, or delaying things to 27. Are there some that may still have life and use for the city?
There could be some that may still have life. However, these have been all, most of the stuff that we are going to send to auction, we have either replaced or are going to be replacing when the new vehicles come in. So some of them are not, they're not in good condition.
Okay. Yeah, I was just really looking at the lower mileage ones. We'll have a little discussion offline about some of those, and especially in looking at them if some departments were anticipating purchasing something and that may not be the case now. Some departments might need to reevaluate some of these vehicles, like the one with 42,000 miles. Yeah, we can talk offline.
Got a question for you.
Sure.
Off of what Alderman Bug just brought up. Do we have a baseline threshold, I should say, for a car being, or a vehicle
I mean,
being put onto this list?
it's kind of variable. I mean, the condition, rust, parts availability, mileage, all that takes into
But do we have a policy in place? Do you have an internal one?
There's not so much a set policy. A lot of it is by evaluating the vehicle itself.
Okay, so we don't have one per se. It's just something the department decides? Is there
I
your
mean,
department?
we try to, after 10 years and certain, over 80,000 miles, things
Okay.
like that.
Okay,
Parts availability is a big deal too, so, yeah, we take all that into consideration.
okay, all right. Because that is a valid point, I believe Alderman Brugg just brought up, and I believe he's trying to say is, can we stretch him a little further, maybe even a year? I think that's where he's coming from.
Right.
So, is that something that you think that you could have evaluated or discussed with
Sure.
your team?
Yeah, we could discuss it.
So maybe, because I'd love to know what the results are of that conversation
Okay.
that you're going to have with I should say Alderman Bug as well on this subject matter, especially with what we were told we should be expecting, the challenges we should be expecting coming forward. So every dollar counts, I would say.
Understood.
So I'm not sure, Alderman Bug, are you looking to second a motion, or what's your thoughts on this one?
No, I think we can go ahead and send this through, and if we need to, discuss things further at COW, we'll be able to do that. So
Okay.
I'm fine with sending it through, and if we need to look at some individual vehicles, we can do that.
All right.
I have a question.
So
based on
just
this
right now, like,
discussion.
he could take this under advisement, but a firm directive can't be made in this setting right now.
Well, I think the key is just the understanding of policy, and when there isn't a policy right now per se, and it's okay if you just use some rules of thumbs. I know we have mechanics or mechanic shops that we go to as well. You're probably getting some thoughts and feedback from them also. If we can just gather some information, so it's just I know sometimes you have to make decisions based on sensibility and common sense. You can't always put everything, but it's good to know that we have at least a time frame, a minimum time frame for the vehicle, a minimum mileage on the vehicle.
Yeah.
That's good to know as well, and it's all in combination, I would think.
That's
Am I
right.
wrong, or am I way off base in
No,
height?
that's right.
All right. I'm trying to understand what you're saying too,
Mhm.
but I'm also trying to evaluate in my head what Alderman Bug is saying. So, at this point, do we have a second motion?
I have a question though, too.
Oh,
now.
I'm sorry.
second it.
Alderman-
So
Alderman
when
Franklin.
we sell these things at auction, and they are not like just garbage, you gotta throw them away, we're still getting money for this.
That's correct.
So I think we need to take a look at when we evaluate these things. If we run it into the ground and it's a potential safety concern, that's one thing. If we're gonna get less money for it too, that needs to be factored into the equation too, because if we're gonna get, $5,000 for a vehicle, we run it an extra year, we're gonna get 1,000. I'm just trying to figure out the math on that. So I think that's part of the equation too, because if we're getting money for these things, they must have some value, but not to us, but that's a good thing because we're gonna get more money. So I think when we look at the big picture, that's part of the equation too. I'm assuming that is anyway, so, okay.
That is a very valid point, and I agree with you on that. But what I think Alderman Bug is also bringing up, and things we've heard, not just what we heard last Tuesday, but we've heard it the past administration, tariffs are in town. there's a commercial on TV saying, you know, come buy our cars, you know, tariff not affected. I don't know which I think it's Toyota saying tariff-free. I mean, so it's an issue as well, and prices going up. But if you look here, you'll see a 2014 and a 2013 Ford Focus. One has 42,000, one has $67,000, miles on it, and they're compact cars. It doesn't say here if it's rusted. It doesn't say here if it's been in the mechanic shop 2-3 times, if it's been in an accident. We really don't know that. So I think it's important to have that conversation Alderman Bug brought up, and just to verify things. You know, it's good to trust, but it's also good to verify as well.
Yes, sir.
Again, is there a second motion on this?
Second.
Second by Alderman Dan Barrero. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Clerk, could you please read the next item on the agenda?
Item 25-0612, a resolution authorizing the execution of a contract with SiteMed for providing on-site firefighter medical examinations and other services.
Is there a presentation here? Oh, all right. Mrs. Lodana.
Good afternoon,
Good
Chairman
afternoon.
Masiacos, Vice Chair Franco, and the rest of the Finance Committee. I am LaDonna Carr, the Director of Training and Development. I have here with me Deputy Chief Kevin Nickel also to talk about SiteMed. That is a very important vendor that we are using for our first responders, our firefighters. We need for them to have their annual physicals, and it was agreed upon by Local 99 and the Aurora Fire Officers Association that we would have them on site. They have been working with us for the past 3 years. The numbers have gone up with the individuals that want to have on-site physicals. It's very convenient. Every year that goes up, the number, they provide a full physical that is required. And every other year we have chest x-rays, and this year we're going to have the full cancer screening for our firefighters. I ask that you approve this. Any questions?
Any questions from the committee? Alderman Bug?
Oh, no.
Nope, the microphone's on. All right.
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Franco,
Second.
second by Alderman Larson. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Ms. Carr.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Clerk, could you please read the next item on the agenda?
Item 25-0672, a resolution authorizing the city to accept a grant award of $34,420 from the FY26 Violent Crime Intelligence Task Force FOID grant.
Afternoon, committee. Tom McNamara, Lieutenant Administrative Services for the Police Department. Today, just bringing forth, hopefully, an ask for resolution to accept the grant award for the FY26 FOID grant. It is something we've done. This will be the 4th year in a row. It's an annual grant. It is a state grant, not a federal grant. It is a reimbursement grant as well, so we will see reimbursement up to that $34,420. I just wanted to take 1 second and bring something to the committee's attention. We received an email from the state a little after 2 p.m. today, working with city legal. They changed, the state changed one word in the document that was sent to you guys through Legistar. Just wanted to bring that to your attention so you're fully aware. Page 5, not sure if you guys have it up, but they changed the word individual to governmental unit. They're referring to the city of Aurora as the grantee for the award as a governmental unit, not an individual. So conferred with city legal, they're okay with that change. Conferred with Jen Stallings, and we're gonna have the document, the correct document, uploaded before COW next week, should the resolution go forward today. So, any questions on that?
So we will be approving it with that understanding that it will be changed. All
Yeah,
right. I
yeah,
appreciate
just that one
Sure,
word, page
sure,
5.
Sure. Do you have an article per se exactly?
So page 5,
Make sure our page 5 is the same
Yeah,
as your
th-
page 5.
page 5, 3.2.
Okay.
At the very bottom there, it says grantee is doing business as your
right.
copy
There
should
it
say
is.
individual. The state has changed that to a governmental unit. It was just something that was caught after everything was approved, so.
All right, fantastic. All right, any questions from the committee? Seeing,
Move for adoption.
pardon me?
Move for adoption.
Second.
I have a motion by Alderman Dan Barrero, a second by Alderman Carl Franco. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Lieutenant.
Thank you very much. You guys have a great day.
You have a great weekend as well. A safe one with the upcoming Labor Day break. Okay, so Clerk, would you please read the next item on the agenda?
Item 25-0687, a resolution approving the revised rules for the administration of the city's deferred compensation plans.
All right. Hello, Dan Ferguson, Accounting Manager. So this is so it's been in the works for a little bit, but you can recall back to December of 2024, had you guys presented to you about our deferred compensation plans. The last substantive change for our plans occurred in 2003. The market landscape for deferred compensation and other retirement plans has drastically changed since that time frame. So we have hired, since that time, that previous resolution, you guys allowed us to hire a consultant for the plans. We've been working with that consultant to try to implement some best practices related to our deferred comp plan. So this is the next step in that process. So trying to give you some history, as I wrote in the memo. This committee for the deferred compensation plans was established in 2003. And for most of that time frame since then, it's mostly been used as needed, not necessarily as a regularly meeting committee. So with current expectations of plans, the environment for open architecture investments, where we no longer need to have, let's say, a VOIA plan to have VOIA investment options. You can have one plan, one record keeper that covers multiple options. We're implementing this next practice. Now, before we do anything or make any changes, we wanted to add some plan participants to that committee. We wanted to kind of get them involved in that process, whereas before it was just 3 city executives. We wanted to add some plan participants to kind of get them some agency and whatever decisions and process and discussions are had moving forward. So with that, are there any questions for me?
I'll leave it up to the committee, but before I do that, can you just, I know it's in here, but for the record, could you plan who you're adding, looking to add? I'm staring at it right now on page 2.
Yeah. So the previously what, or so I guess the main, I guess, key changes I'll point them out here is that we had the CFO, city treasurer, that was the same as before. The chief human resources officer, that was the same as before. The third point was our corporation counsel. And just kind of thinking recently that we want that corporation counsel to be involved in more of an advisory capacity rather than having a seat at the committee. So we are, in a sense, changing that, and with advice from our consultant, they were kind of looking for more of a COO type role. And so we thought that the mayor's office kind of fit that role. So we have it written as the mayor's chief of staff, or if the chief of staff or another representative appointed by the mayor's office. So that's what we have written for that third position. And then the 2 key ones that we're adding, I have is D1 and 2. One's going to be an active employee that participates in the plan, and one's going to be a retired employee that participates in the plan. So we can kind of get both perspectives in the process.
Question.
Yes.
Based on what you just said, you said one can be or one shall be. I mean, that's a big difference, because if you're saying can be, we might go a different direction. If you're saying shall be a participant, then we're gonna go based on the parameters that you put in here. So are we locked into this?
Let me read it. As I have it written here, that they are, because it says that is a current participant.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
because you said can
clarify.
be, I
Thank
didn't know
you.
how, it almost said may look like there's flexibility, which I don't really think there is. They gotta be these parameters, okay?
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
fine. I just
thank you for
wanted-
clarifying that.
Yeah, I hate to
Just to
mince
reread
words
it
like
correctly
that,
from
but-
the
okay.
memo, yeah, they are a current participant.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Alderman Barrero.
Yes, I have a question. My question has to do with the participation of employees with these plans. What's the ballpark percentage of employees that are taking advantage of this?
I wouldn't have a number, but I would say it's probably less than half, to be honest. Most people don't even understand that we even have deferred compensation plans offered as a benefit for the employees. I think that there are certain labor groups that are more heavily utilized than others. But I think that's where, because we have we currently, just to disclose, we have 7 current plans as available options. Now, my previous employment, we never had 7 options to choose from. It was just usually 1. But we have 7 current options, 4 accepting new participants. And, I think that's kind of a barrier for a lot of people because, when they ask us, we can give them a form to sign up for it. But really, we can say, we have a contact sheet. Here's the 4 people you can contact. You need to contact them directly and see which one you ultimately want to go with. Most people may not make that first step. So that's an unfortunate barrier. But that's something that we want to, there's nothing like formalized with trying to have the record keepers we have right now to come on site and meet with participants or meet with employees because they're all 7 different groups, 7 different record keepers. What we're hoping is that we can kind of coordinate efforts in that realm so that we're not just, going with specific labor groups and more City Hall as a whole.
I'm looking at the HR people over there. My kids are, they're 30 and under, right? So as a parent, it's something I think about for them. Thinking about you guys need to talk to, you need to think about your future. Are you guys investing money for your future, for retirement? And when I walk around the hallways at City Hall here, I see a lot of young people. They're younger than my kids, right? The new hires, and they're probably not thinking about it when they go through open enrollment. They're getting a stack of paper. They're signing this, signing that, and it's probably overwhelming. But at some point, after things settle down, it'd be good to have them, come back and go over this stuff and start. They can start small. They got that 25, 30 years ahead of them, But I think it's a great program, and I think it's something that all employees should take advantage of.
And they do, we do invite them to open enrollment. They do attend. They do have tables there, but again, when there's 4 different options to choose from, it's kind of, sometimes you might go with who they see first. They might just pick them, but if they know that they have options, it's the process of trying to figure out which one's the best fit for them, and sometimes that can just be a barrier for someone to start participating.
But you said 7 options, correct? I'm
Correct.
sorry, Alderman Barrow, are you complete? All right, thank you.
Yep.
So you said there's 7 options since 2003? Since it
So
was established, or my
So we've
correlating wrong
had
points?
we've had 7 in the last. We had a consultant back in 2003. Their recommendation was to eliminate one of the plans, and they had since been reopened. And we also added an additional plan. So we have 7 total plans right now. 3 are what's called inactive plans. They were switched as inactive to where any current participant can continue deferring dollars to those plans, but no new participant can join them. But we're still doing all the administrative functions of maintaining and administering those 3 plans, even though they are inactive. Now, some of those are largely maybe a dozen. One of them might have like a dozen participants. So some of them are, over time, have declined, but there's still some that are getting active deferrals from people who had started back before those were made inactive.
So we are going to continue having 7 groups and 7 record keepers.
That's a decision that this committee is going to actually ultimately make. And that's why we wanted to add participants to this committee so that they have some agency in what that decision is. So as of right now, we had the suspicion that we probably are being inefficient with our plans, and each plan has their own process, different forms. There's no consistency amongst them. And we had some preliminary numbers provided to us, and it seems like there might be some maybe room for reduction in fees, but ultimately that's something that's going to have to be decided by this committee as to what happens.
So this is the first step in the process, setting up the structure for a new structure for the committee.
Correct. Yeah, because
All right.
and that's why we really want this committee to meet quarterly. We want them to meet to review performance, review investment options. Our record keepers doing what they should be doing. We want to kind of have that oversight created through this revised committee.
Okay, all right. So we're not making any decisions today in regards to these committees? I should say the brackets. All right. Any more remaining questions from the committee?
Move for adoption.
Okay, Alderman Barrow made a motion to adopt. Second. Second by Alderman Ed Bug. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much.
you.
Appreciate your time. I think that's the last item on the agenda.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay, sounds like there's no additional business for the committee. Got a motion by Alderman Franco, second by Alderman Dan Barrero. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed 5-0. Thank you all in all. Meeting is over at 3:35 PM.